Today I'll be doing a quick 5-minute tutorial on how to use git bash and install it. We're first going to go to git.scm and we're going to select the version that is best suited for our computer. The version I'll be doing today is for Windows. I have a 64-bit that I'll be doing the setup for today. Once we accept it, we're going to go to our downloads and we're going to check and set up the system. Once we select yes, we're going to see it start up. Click next for all the settings. Me personally, I want to make sure that I have it available on the desktop, so I don't have to create a shortcut. There are a lot more things that you could be able to do if you're more advanced, but this is just a quick setup. Once we have that done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to launch it. Once it's launched, it's going to look like this. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to put git status. This is going to tell us if we have any repositories in our system, which we do not. So we're going to create one by copying the file directory, by putting cd and pasting it in, and pressing enter. Once that's done, you're going to see it pop up in yellow. And what I like to do is put git status again. Of course, this is not made as a repository as yet, so we're going to initialize it by putting git init space period and enter. Now it has been initialized. We put git status and now you can see it's on the branch master. Since there's no commits, we're going to go into our folder and create a text file. This text file will be the readme file. By creating a readme file, this will make it easier to find and add it to the repository. Here I'm just giving it some contents as a test file. Once it's saved, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put git status to see if I could find it pop up. Now when you type in git status, if you notice that there's something that pops up red, that means that it hasn't been added yet to the repository. How we add things to the repository is by putting git add, copying the file and pasting it into the line, and then we press enter. Once that's done, you're gonna want to enter in git status again. This will tell you if the repository has been successfully added when it turns green. Now I'll give you an example of adding in a file and removing it if you don't want it in the repository. Here I'm creating another text document that I do not want copied to the GitHub or to the repository. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check git status to see if you could see the file. Now you can see that it's in red and it does not show up in the repository. One thing you're going to realize is that if you have any spaces in the title of your text file, it's not going to be able to be read into the git bash. This is when I realized that I need to change the text file document name by removing the spaces that I had in the title. Once you remove all the spaces in the title name, you're going to notice it's going to pop up and make it easier to read. So we're going to put it in and we're going to put the git add python/do-not-read.txt and now it pops up. Check the git status again and you're going to see it shows. To remove it from the repository, we're going to put git rm-cache and we're going to put the location of it. Once that is done, we're going to press enter, check the git status again, and you're going to see it's in red, which means that it's not in the repository anymore. Now we're going to want to commit. Since we're a first-time user, we need to be able to configure our user email and username. Once you do that, you're going to do git commit again, and this is where you're going to be able to initialize comments onto your repository. One thing you'll notice is that pushing the enter button will not do anything. This is when you need to use the escape button in order to make any changes and save it. And this is where we type in :x!! Now there's a much more easier way of doing this by just putting git commit -m open quotation marks and the message that you want to be able to put for the comments and close quotation marks. Since I'm all done with that, I want to be able to check the status of it and see that everything is going well. Now I go to my GitHub account and I'm going to create a new repository. This one will be called the new Python, and then I give a description for it. Once that's done, I make sure it's open to the public or you can make it private, and then you create a repository. Since I have an existing repository, all I need to do is be able to copy and paste these instructions into the git bash. Doing these lines one by one makes sure that everything is set in properly. And when you're done with this, you're going to be able to find this on your GitHub. Now we put the last command line in and we press enter. Now we can see it's officially been committed. We could be able to go into our GitHub and find all the text files and information that we need. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Let me know if it was.